My name is Mixtli, which means cloud in our language. My parents gave me this name because, on the day I was born, the sky was covered in soft, drifting clouds, promising rain and good harvests. I was born in Tenochtitlan, a city built on water, shining in the middle of Lake Texcoco. Our city seemed to float, its temples and homes rising from the shimmering surface, connected by causeways and bridges. Canals were our roads, and canoes our carts. Every day, people glided across the water carrying food, goods, and news from one neighborhood to another. Every morning, the sun rose over the volcanoes, Iztaccíhuatl and Popocatépetl, watching over us like ancient gods. Their snowy peaks were a constant reminder of the power and beauty of the world around us. Our world was orderly. Every stone, every person had a purpose. The city was carefully planned, with straight streets and bustling plazas, each district alive with its own traditions. Life was a cycle, planting, harvesting, and giving thanks to the gods. We honored the earth and sky, believing that our offerings kept the balance of nature and ensured our survival. The Tlatelolco market was alive with voices and colors, turquoise, cotton, quetzal feathers. Merchants from distant lands came to trade, bringing stories and treasures from beyond the mountains. Farmers brought maize, beans, and tomatoes from Chinampas, our floating gardens. These gardens fed our city, their green rows stretching across the water like a patchwork quilt. My father, a craftsman, traded obsidian blades sharp enough to see your reflection. He taught me the value of patience and skill, and how every tool had its own spirit. The Templo Mayor, our great temple, stood at the city's heart, with shrines to Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. It was the place where our people gathered for festivals, prayers, and great ceremonies. Priests performed ceremonies to keep the universe in balance. Their chants and offerings echoed through the city, reminding us of our connection to the gods and the cosmos. As a child, I looked at the temple with awe and fear. It was the center of our universe. Its towering steps seemed to reach the sky, and I wondered what secrets the priests knew. Life wasn't all work. We played Olamalistli, the ball game, and cheered for our teams. The game was more than sport. It was a ritual, a way to honor the gods and test our strength. Stories and songs told of our ancestors' journey and the founding of our city. Around the fire, elders shared tales of heroes, monsters, and the creation of the world. Our world was rich with culture and history. Every festival, every dance, every mural on our walls spoke of who we were and where we came from. We believed our empire would last forever. Our warriors were strong, our rulers wise, and our gods powerful. We could not imagine a world any different from the one we knew. Our families, our traditions, our city, they were the center of everything. The city was alive, vibrant, and full of hope. Each day brought new challenges but also new joys and discoveries. We were the people of the sun. Our lives revolved around its light, its warmth, and its promise of renewal, and we thought nothing could ever change that. In our hearts we believed the sun would always rise over Tenochtitlan, and our city would endure for all time. The year the strangers came, the sky and earth sent warnings: a comet, boiling lake waters, a burning temple. Priests and elders whispered of omens and great change. Runners brought tales from the coast-floating mountains, pale-skinned men, and beasts larger than deer. At first we thought these were legends, but the stories grew more detailed. Men with thundersticks riding giant animals. Emperor Moctezuma was troubled, searching prophecies for answers. Some believed these strangers might be gods, perhaps Quetzalcoatl returned. Moctezuma sent gifts of gold and precious stones to the coast, hoping to impress or appease them. In the market we wondered, were they friends or threats? For the first time, fear crept into our proud city. The winds of change were blowing and we could not ignore them. The day the strangers marched toward our valley we watched in disbelief. They had allied with our rivals, the Tlaxcalans. Clad in shining metal, riding terrifying horses, they seemed like beings from legend. Their weapons roared with thunder, striking fear into even our bravest warriors. My father and I watched from a hilltop as the procession approached. Metal men, Tlaxcalan allies, and their leader, Hernan Cortez. Cortez spoke through Malintzin, a woman from our lands who bridged our worlds. He used words to sow doubt and division among us. He claimed to be an ambassador, but his actions spoke of conquest. The arrival of these men of metal and thunder shattered our sense of security. The balance of our universe was broken. We realized this was not a divine visit, but an invasion. Our world would never be the same. The city braced for what was to come. Fear and confusion spread among our people. The end of our world had begun. Emperor Moctezuma welcomed Cortez into Tenochtitlan, still hoping they might be gods. The meeting was grand. Moctezuma adorned in gold, Cortez offering an embrace that shocked our nobles. The strangers marveled at our city, calling it a dream. For a brief moment there was tense peace, but soon Cortez took Moctezuma hostage, turning our emperor into a puppet. The Spanish demanded gold, melted our treasures, and forbade our ceremonies. Tension grew, the people were angry and confused. The warrior class wanted to fight, but Moctezuma urged calm. His words no longer held power, he was seen as weak. The city simmered with unrest. The serpent was no longer at the gates, it was in our home. Our traditions were trampled, our leader captive. The peace was an illusion. The city's spirit was breaking. The invaders had seized the heart of Tenochtitlan. While Cortez left to face rivals, he put Pedro de Alvarado in charge, a man known for cruelty and a quick temper. Alvarado's reputation for violence was already infamous among both the Spanish and the Aztecs, and his presence cast a shadow over the city. During the sacred festival of Toxcatl, when our people gathered to honor the gods, Alvarado ordered a brutal massacre of unarmed nobles and priests. The temple courtyard, once a place of music and prayer, became a scene of horror and bloodshed. The city erupted in fury. Warriors and citizens alike rose up, besieging the Spanish in their palace. The air was filled with the sound of drums and war cries, echoing through the streets of Tenochtitlan. When Cortez returned, he found a city at war, its streets choked with barricades and the tension of rebellion. Moctezuma, forced to speak to the angry crowd, was met with stones and insults. His own people no longer trusted him. He died soon after, his reign ending in tragedy and betrayal. With our emperor gone, we chose Cuitlahuac, a fierce new leader who inspired hope and determination in our hearts. The battle for Tenochtitlan began in earnest. Every street, every canal became a battleground as we fought to reclaim our city. Cortez tried to escape on a rainy night, hoping the darkness would hide his retreat, but our warriors attacked from canoes and causeways, striking from every side. The Spanish, weighed down by stolen gold, were cut down or drowned in the dark waters of the lake. Their greed became their undoing. It was a bloody victory for us, hundreds of Spanish and thousands of their allies killed. Cortez barely escaped with his life, leaving chaos behind. We called it the Noche Triste, the night of sorrows, for them. The survivors mourned their dead, haunted by defeat. For us, it was a night of triumph. Our families rejoiced, believing the invaders had finally been driven out. The city celebrated, but the war was not over. We remained vigilant, knowing the enemy might return. We believed we had turned the tide, that our courage and unity would protect us from further harm. But a new enemy was already among us, one we could not see and could not fight with weapons. We drove the strangers out and celebrated, believing the worst was over, but they left behind a deadlier enemy, smallpox. It began with fever, then terrible sores. We had no defense. The disease swept through our city, killing young and old alike. Families vanished in days, many starved, too weak to move. Our new emperor, Cuitlahuac, died after only 80 days. The city was silent, filled with death. Our priests and medicines were powerless. The gods seemed to have abandoned us. While we suffered, Cortez rebuilt his army among the Tlaxcalans. He gathered more allies and built warships to attack us by lake. Smallpox had shattered our strength and spirit. We were weakened from within. The hunters were preparing for the final blow. The unseen enemy had opened the gates for our conquerors. Cortez returned, not to visit but to destroy. He came with a single purpose, to conquer our people and erase our way of life forever. His warships ruled Lake Texcoco, blockading our city and cutting off supplies. The lake, once our lifeline, became a prison, trapping us inside our own home. Our island home became a trap. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from the enemy closing in on all sides. We chose a new emperor, Cuauhtémoc, who inspired us to fight to the last. His courage and determination gave us hope when hope was scarce. Every day was a battle, on causeways, rooftops, and streets. The city echoed with the clash of obsidian blades and the cries of the wounded. We fought for our world, not just our city. Each warrior knew that the fate of our people rested on our resistance. The siege lasted nearly 3 months, starvation and disease as deadly as swords. Hunger gnawed at our bellies and sickness spread through the crowded streets. People ate bark and roots. The stench of death filled the air. Families searched desperately for anything to keep their children alive. Yet we did not surrender. Our spirit was unbroken, even as our bodies weakened. Cuauhtémoc's spirit kept us going. He walked among us, sharing our pain and urging us to stand strong. I fought beside my father, learning to sling stones and wield a spear. Even the youngest among us became warriors, defending our home. I saw bravery and horror, hunger and loss. Each day brought new stories of sacrifice and heartbreak. The music of our city was replaced by the sounds of war. Drums of celebration became drums of warning, flutes silenced by the roar of battle. The Spanish advanced by day, we rebuilt by night. Our hands were raw from labor, but we refused to let our defenses fall. Our world was being torn apart, stone by stone. The city that once shone with beauty and power was now scarred by war. The city's beauty faded under the weight of battle. Temples and palaces crumbled, their splendor lost to fire and blood. We clung to hope, even as the end drew near. In the darkest moments, we found strength in each other. The siege was relentless, and our strength was fading. But our hearts, though battered, refused to break. The end came in August. We were pushed back to Tlatelolco, surrounded by ruins and death. The Spanish and their allies swept through, killing all in their path. Our last emperor, Cuauhtémoc, tried to escape by canoe but was captured. He faced Cortés with dignity, asking to be killed, but was spared for gold. With his capture, resistance collapsed. Silence fell over the ruins of Tenochtitlan. Our empire was gone. I survived but felt like a ghost in my own home. The market's colors were replaced by ash. Temples were toppled. The Spanish built Mexico City atop our ruins, erasing our memory. But they could not erase our spirit. The fall of Tenochtitlan was a tragedy, a clash of worlds that destroyed one. The eagle had fallen, but its feathers still scattered on the wind. Our world ended, but our story did not. The memory of Tenochtitlan lived on in us. In the years after, I learned to live in a new world ruled by foreign kings and gods. Our people were forced to build the Spanish capital. Our children learned new language and faith. Much was lost, our knowledge, poetry, and government dismissed as primitive. But memory is stubborn. We kept our stories and traditions alive in secret. I reflect on our downfall. We were powerful but isolated and divided. Our enemies used those divisions against us. The Tlaxcalans traded one master for another. The greatest lesson: disunity leads to ruin. Yet, I saw resilience. My people endured war, starvation, disease, and loss. Our culture blended with the new, creating something unique. The blood of the Aztecs still flows in this land. The story of Mixtli is the story of my people, scattered clouds but rain that still nourishes the earth. Our legacy endures in the spirit of our descendants.